Well, here we are again. My name is Reggie Gardner, and welcome to my man cave. I should have been on here a lot sooner, but I apologize. You know, uh, what is it they say? Life goes on. Yep, that's it. Life goes on. So, just very briefly here as we're going through my man cave, just to let you know what things are like. Woohoo! Yeah. All right. Here I am at my man cave. Okay. And I wanted to share some thoughts with you. You know, you always hear about people saying, well, you need to be reading, you need to be listening to tapes, watching videos. You need to be getting into those positive thinking type of things. And so that's basically what I wanted to maybe share with you this today. So let me get myself set back up here so we can get after it. I put together some notes that I wanted to share with you. Yeah, I got notes. I have to keep reminding myself of things. All right. So please bear with me. Let me adjust this just a little bit better. Whoa. Whoa. My Gimel did not like that. I don't know if you're familiar with a Gimel. it's a it's a it's kind of a fascinating little device that you hook your camera to, but it has its own little motor and everything in it. It's kind of like a little bitty robot. And so when you touch it, sometimes it doesn't like what you're doing. And so you saw right there where it kind of shook me off like a dog when he gets wet. All right. Oh, we're having fun, aren't we? Well, how can I make money? That's a question a lot of us ask. I know it's a question I asked myself as a very young boy. There's a lot of things I didn't understand as a kid, just like most of us. And then the other question is why do I need money? Well, uh, I wanted to be able to have things. And so there was a kid that I ran around with in school, and he was kind of creative. But we'd find these magazines at school, and they'd have all these ads in them. Well, we found an ad there for all occasion cards, birthday cards, Christmas cards, anniversary cards. And so we would apply for these ads, and they'd send us a pretty good sized box of all occasion cards. And so we would go door to door selling all occasion cards. And so you'd sell a box, and I don't remember, the box might have like 50 cards in it. So you're selling them a box of all occasion cards. Well, you didn't really make a lot of money, all right? Well, I didn't know until a few years later when somebody actually came knocking at my door, and we were sitting at the table eating, and they asked for me. And so I go to the door, and here's this man standing there. Well, I was a bit intimidated because I'm just a kid, and there's this man standing at my door, and he wants to talk to the guy that's been selling these all occasion cards. And all of a sudden I say, well, I'm the guy. And come to realize you're supposed to be of age. Well, I wasn't of age, nowhere near it. But anyway, I was selling all occasion cards. Well, then from there, I went into making pot holders. I don't know if anybody experienced that or not, but I would go down to one of these five a dime stores and buy a loom and buy all of these bags of, I guess you say, material for making pot holders. And where I lived, it would rain a lot. I lived in Illinois, and so it would rain a lot. Well, that would give you a lot of time to make pot holders. And then finally, when the sun would come out and things would clear up, well, I'd go door to door selling pot holders. And I sold a lot of pot holders. I think it's because, how are you going to refuse a young kid, right? Especially the little ladies. I was like their little grandson. So I'd sell a lot of potholders. Made a little more money selling potholders than I did all occasion cards, I can tell you that. And so I don't know what just instilled these things into me. I guess because we didn't have a lot of money at that time. Had an uncle that lived with us who had recently gotten out of the Korean War, and so every year before school would start, he would take us kids. I had two younger sisters, and my mother, and we'd go downtown. We'd have to walk downtown, and so he would buy us our school clothes for the whole year. So whatever we got had to last us for the whole year. So you had one pair of shoes, and then you had a couple, I don't know, 3 or 4 pair of pants, and the same thing with the shirts and socks and all that stuff. So we didn't have a lot. So if I was going to have anything, I had to be kind of creative. And then when I would receive money, I would stick it away in a little box somewhere. I was pretty thrifty as a young boy. And my sister, when we'd go trick-or-treating, we'd take a grocery bag, each one of us, and we'd go trick-or-treating. And when we'd get home, my sister would take that grocery bag of candy and stick it in her closet. Well, 3 or 4 or 5 months later, when I'd be in the room where my sisters were at, I'd look in that closet, and there's that bag of candy in there getting moldy. My sister would not touch that candy. In other words, she was saving it. In her mind, for whatever reason, she just thought she'd save that candy. And she'd save it till it wasn't any good. Then Mom would finally find it and throw it away. So anyway, that was kind of the way it was in my home. But as I grew up, I don't know, I did some stupid. I got to admit it. I did some stupid. One of the stupid things I did, I quit school. And but I realized when I quit school, I didn't want to be a burden to my family, so I immediately joined the Navy. I enlisted. Well, at that time they had a draft, but I enlisted, and I do kind of the same thing. When payday would come, I'd leave my money on the books. I didn't take money off the books. Some of you understand what that is. If you don't, ask your dad or your grandfather or somebody like me. All right, and they'll tell you what that means. So when I got out of the Navy, I had a little bit of money saved up because I didn't spend a lot of that money, and so I was able to buy a brand new, and this was back in 1968, I was able to buy a brand new Pontiac Grand Prix. Well, hey, that was a pretty nice car. All right. But then you need a JOB. You need some way of putting gas in it and insurance and everything. And well, a lot of you are probably not aware of this, but school never taught you anything about money. Why? Because they wanted to teach you how to get a job. And that's where most of us are. We never really learned about money, but we realized that you needed to get to a certain age and you needed to get a job, and you became dependent upon whatever that job was, and that really kind of held everybody down. And so I know as I went through life, things were a struggle because you were tied to a JOB, and And so you only made so much money an hour. And so sometimes you'd bounce from job to job to job to job. Well, I still would try to save my money, and I did a pretty good job of doing that. And by the time I got to retirement age, I had stashed away a pretty good chunk of money, because a lot of guys, when their contract would come up or whatever and they'd get a raise, well, they'd spend every bit of money they got in that raise. But I wouldn't. I would stash it away and save it. And so they lived from payday to payday, where I kept my money put in a. Before I started, I just basically put it in a savings program, and then later on in life, they started what they called an IRA, and I joined that and put money in that, and then it moved to where they had a 401k. Wow. And so I moved my money from the IRA into a 401k and retired with a bit of money. And then after that, I joined a guy in a venture of real estate. Bad move, bad move. Why? Because it was not my expertise. It was not something I knew or understood. But this guy, he knew it, he understood it. Just trust me, right? Trust me. Yeah. So I was the money guy, and I was trusting him. Well, what happened after a few short years, he bankrupted me. And I mean, bankrupted me. Because, see, I had become a multimillionaire. But then I wasn't in control of my money. And he bankrupted me. Well, the sad part of it is, because that was sad, and you guys will say, wow, yeah, lose multi-millions of dollars. But see, when I learned that things was going down, I went to see an attorney. I may have shared this with you before, I don't know. But he told me that my paperwork wasn't any good. I went home, and my mother and my wife and nephew and sister, we was all going to go to lunch that day after I got through talking to the attorney. But when I got home, I was on the phone talking to another investor, and my wife comes out of the living room, and I'm still on the phone, and she meets me in the kitchen, and just as she meets me, she collapses in front of me. She was dead when she hit the floor. Whoa. So I know about struggle, all right? I lost my wife, and I lost my life savings all in the same day. Well, that really put me into a tailspin. And for several years, I mean, I struggled big time. Why? Because I was already a retired person. I already was at an age that people are not looking to hire somebody at my age. And so I have to reinvent myself. That's why I'm here. I'm here to tell you, if I can do it, you can do it. So, as I share some of the stuff with you, and I go through my notes here, just bear with me. I have to put notes up here because when you get to be my age, you have a little bit of difficulty sometimes in putting a sentence together. Okay, so, but I'm having fun. I don't know about you, but so I went through this bankruptcy. But then I had to, as I say, I had to reinvent myself because, see, I had the wrong philosophy in life. I had the wrong attitude. And I had that attitude because I had grown up, as I said, with this thing of working hard, okay? That's the attitude. You work hard. Well, you need to work smart. And working smart is a lot better than working hard. I'm not knocking working hard. That's a good thing, but you need to work smart. And if you work smart and hard, well, then the benefits will really come your way, all right? So, I realized not having money, I realized I had a lack of security. Also, not having money, I became a disappointment to the rest of my family. Then I had creditors chasing me all over this nation. I mean, all over this nation, because see what I did when my wife died, and this is what I do right now as a full-time job, if you want to call it a job, but it's not a job to me, but I'm a traveling evangelist. And so I've learned how to make money on the side to help me to be able to do what I love to do, and that's to evangelize. So anyways, I would travel all over this country, coast to coast, border to border. Creditors would be chasing me because they wanted their money. All right? I understood that. And so I learned some real valuable lessons. Well, I needed money to be able to survive. Isn't that something? You ever thought about that? I need money to survive. I needed money just to be able to travel. I was traveling on a Honda Goldwing. Some of you don't know what that is. That's a motorcycle, biggest one that Honda makes, but that's basically all I had left to be able to travel all over the country, was a Honda Goldwing. Well, that's romantic. Yeah, that's romantic. And you can see a lot of country for sure, and you can see it in a different way. But when it rains, when the temperature drops, when it gets really, really hot, the romanticism kind of wears real thin. Well, so you want to be able to show people that you're able to make it again. You want to be able to show people that you're a somebody, that you got something up here. All right? I guess what I'm saying, there's a void, there's a vacuum that's within each one of us that drives us in some way. And a lot of times we don't know what that void or that vacuum is. And so it takes a real learning curve to figure out what that is. Well, you try to fill it with a lot of stuff, and that's because of what we learned in our youth. What do you mean? Well, Christmas time would come around and you'd start opening packages. You'd no more than get that package opened, and the next thing you know, you're looking for the next package. And that's kind of the way your whole life then begins, is you keep looking for something that gives you this emotional high, this emotional satisfaction. And then it carries with you throughout your life. And so that's what I'm talking about right now, is a lot of times what we're doing based on emotions, not what's up here. We're not working smart, and we're trying to find something to fill that void or that vacuum, and that's what I'm talking about. And so, as I share with you today, I hope some of this is resonating with you. You don't want to keep chasing those emotions, because you're going to continue to stay broke. You need to reinvent yourself. Uh, so let me share a few things here. I learned a long time ago that money is simply a tool. And once you get that figured out, things will start to change for you. Money is just a tool. And when you learn that it's a tool, then you can learn how you can use that tool to bring some comfort. Lasting comfort. Not that comfort that you just got when you bought something, or like the Christmas present type of comfort. I'm talking about a real comfort. A comfort also that will give you peace of mind. Because that's something that most of us lack, is a real peace of mind. Also, money allows you to buy time. And that's something I learned way late in life. In other words, I was doing all this stuff back when I had family and, kids, wife, job and everything. But I didn't have time because I put all the time into the job. Whenever they had overtime, I took it. And the next thing I knew, I lost a lot of time with my wife. I lost a lot of time with my kids. And I'll never get that back. It's gone. And so what I'm saying is, you need to learn how to work smart to where you can use that money to buy time. Real time. And when you buy that time, then you can make some real quality choices in life. And instead of using money to impress people, why don't you use that money to invest in yourself? And what am I saying? Educate yourself. Reinvent yourself. And use that money to invest in yourself, invest in your education, enrich yourself emotionally and spiritually, and invest in yourself with some memories. Some memories. In other words, memories with your family, with your spouse, with your children. Some lasting memories. Some memories that will make you feel good at night. So what I'm trying to do is tell you to spend that money in investing in yourself and not use the money to impress others. Because if you're doing that, wrong. So anyway, I know this video was probably a little bit lengthy, and I apologize, but hey, I had fun making it. There's a link below this video that will help you to learn how to invest in yourself to where you'll be able to have some support, some real support, with some real people who understand what I'm talking about, and they want to share that with you. And so, if this is of any interest to you, take some time and check out my link below. It's not going to cost you anything, but maybe a little time. So, invest that time in yourself. All right? Learn how to live, and to live a quality life. God bless. Thank you.